Head coach of the Texans, Coach Steve Green, joins us today. And Coach, good start for you for the 2011-12 year. I know the record kind of speaks for itself, the national ranking, lots of press going on here, but let's talk about this basketball team as a whole and talk a little bit about where this team started, where you're at now, and how you feel like the first half of this season's gone for you.
Well, I think it's gone pretty good. Some of the guys that we had back from last year have, with the addition of a couple of other ones that have come in, have really stepped up their play. So we've got a lot more depth this season. Michael Miller has had a pretty good semester. Deshaun Walker's had a good semester. Greg Gainey, Durrell, Stanton Kidd, those five guys that played last year, I think have played a whole lot better this year. Now, granted, they've had some help. We're a lot bigger than we were. Yannick Marrera, Marshall Henderson coming in. We've got a point guard that has been very reliable, very trustworthy with the basketball. And so, it translates into giving you opportunity to win each and every game that you play. So, fortunately, knock on wood, that's where we are at this point.
You had to feel like kind of that was the thing, was you weren't real big in the post last year. The presence just wasn't really there. And the point guard seemed like it was kind of one of those transitional things. One day somebody'd have a good game, and the next day they wouldn't, and so on and so forth. So stability there has to feel pretty good.
Yeah, well, I think you hit on it. We basically had no size at all last year, so we asked the guys to do superhuman things that for the most part they just weren't capable of doing. And so this year it's a lot easier to play the 4 at 6'5", 6'6" than it is to play the 5. And when you have somebody that's 6'9", 6'10" out there, that he commands a lot of attention. And so I think obviously Stanton has really benefited from that. He's had a really good first semester due to all the attention that Yannick has drawn. Deshaun Walker played out of position. There's just no two ways about it. We had to play him at the point all season last year, and we wore him out. We just didn't have anybody else to put in, so we had to play him there, and he did the best that he could. But that's not his natural position. So Devontae coming in this year, and that's what he is. He is a prototype point guard, and it's allowed Deshaun to show some of his other skills and talents.
You look at this front half of this season, and again, the record speaks for itself, but a couple of highlights in this schedule, if you would, talk about a few of the high spots, and in a schedule with a 0 on one side of the card, maybe a little tougher to pick out.
Well, we opened up this, we opened up the season, we went down and played in the East-West, what we call the East-West shootout between, our region and I think was there 3 teams, maybe 3 teams from the East. And I knew we were going to play Trinity Valley and we were going to, and Lamar State, Port Arthur. And I told our fellows this. I said, we will not face more talented teams all season long, And so it's going to be a great gauge of where we are. If we can go down there and do well, then we can beat anybody we play. Doesn't say that we're going to do it, but at least now you don't have to go into a game and worry about you're going to be manhandled. That we're short, a few abilities here or there, because we're not. Now, we do have to play well each and every time, and the guys responded pretty well. We played Trinity Valley and really opened up almost an insurmountable lead against them, and then let them come back. And then we did the same thing the next day against Lamar State, Port Arthur. So we've been able to answer every bell. We've had a couple of close calls. I think we've been behind at half once this season against a lesser team. It was sometimes getting in these guys' skulls is not the easiest thing, and but at halftime we kind of came back and fought our way, and really paced them good that night. I think it was Panola in Dallas. So to this point, you have to be happy with what's going on, but the season's not over. Now we're going to play 14 games that mean quite a bit to the school, to the team, and to these guys individually.
Start out on the road at Midland College. Speaking of those 14 games, let's talk about Midland, and what are some of your concerns with those guys starting this schedule off for kind of?
Well, I think they're potentially maybe the best team in the league. They've played a pretty challenging schedule as well. They've lost 2 games. They lost 1 at home in that first deal, and then they lost at Jacksonville last year, last year.
Yeah, last year, 2011. That's last year.
But I think they're finding themselves now, and it's going to be, a tremendous challenge for us, and hopefully for them as well.
You look back at this Arizona trip, and you come off that holiday break, and you take that long swing to Arizona. had to be kind of good to get those guys back together, get them kind of isolated away from everything, and get them in a format where you really kind of coach in a different system when you're on the road that long.
Yeah, we spent, what, 6 days, I think, you know, together, either bus or in restaurants or in the mall or in the movies or, you know, on the basketball floor out there. So, yeah, it was pretty good. I think most of the guys came back, they were ready to get back and get started again. We played 4 teams. 2, which were, one I think was really good, Mesa. One was not so bad, Chandler Gilbert, and the other 2, you know, just were not much of a challenge for us. But that's kind of what we try to do every year. We try to play ourselves back into condition and
Sure.
get ready for the league. Now we've had 6 or 7 days, and now we're going to start focusing strategically on what we're going to try to do with Midland and Odessa next week.
Health of the team, everybody healthy coming into this next week?
Yeah, as far as I know. I mean, you know, some sniffles and things like that, but nothing that should keep you back from getting on the bus.
All right, Coach. Final thoughts for us before we let you go for the day and get ready to take on Midland on Monday.
Well, it's going to be tough. I hope we have a lot of people that can make it down there. You know, we're creating some buzz around here. I know we are nationally. You know, anytime you're sitting at this point, you're undefeated. You know, people around the country are beginning to take notice. You know what's going on. I hope we can get the local people to come out the following Thursday against Odessa, because until somebody beats them, I think they're 14-2, whatever. So until somebody beats them, they're the best team in the league. So it's going to be a tough race, I think, from start to finish. There's 4 or 5, you know, say 4 or 5 teams are going to be, you know, vying for playoff spots. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time as always. Thanks for dropping by. Look forward to catching up with you after the ball game Monday.
Okay.